Okay guys, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Nasa module number 11 na tayo ng Earth and Life Science. Ang ating title ng lesson natin today is Plant and Animal Cells with the subtitle Cell Theory Cycle, Its Part and Functions. So sa lesson natin na to guys, ang main objective natin is to describe and differentiate between plant and animal cells. Number 2 is to determine the functions of cell organelles, explain the difference between active and passive transport, and lastly is to compare and contrast the diffusion and osmosis, phagocytosis, sinucytosis, and the tonicity of solutions. Now, in order for us to understand our lesson, here are the key questions that we're going to answer. First off, why do different cell types have different rates of cell division? Number 2, why shouldn't a person who is stranded at sea drink water? As an overview with our lesson, the cell theory remains to be the foundation of modern biology. Today, modern tenets are broken down into 6 statements. What are these? First one, all known living things are made up of cells. According to botanist Matthias Skleden, who was the one who discovered the plant cell, and zoologist Theodor Swan. He was the one who discovered the animal cell. The cell, number 2, is the structural and functional unit of all living things. Meaning to say, cell has its 2 types, which is unicellular and multicellular. When we say unicellular, from the word uni means one, single cell. When we say multicellular, many cells, from the word multi. So, all cells came from pre-existing cells. Ano nga ba yung ibig sabihin ng statement number 3? So, for statement number 3, all cells come from pre-existing cells. Meaning to say, they are omnicellular, e-cellular by division. That is according to Rudolf Virchow in 1858. He was the one who corrected the spontaneous generation or the creation of life from inorganic matter of Francesco Redi. And this claim of Virchow was supported by Louis Pasteur, though his swan neck flash experience. So, he subsequently proposed that life only comes from life, from the statement number 3. Ano naman yung statement number 4? It is said here that cell contains hereditary information that is passed from cell to cell during cell division. So, it explained that the cell contains DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, hereditary information that is being passed from one generation to another. Statement number 5, all cells are basically the same in chemical compositions. And number 6, all energy flow through the process of metabolism and biochemistry of life, which occurs within the cell. So here are the people behind the discovery of the cell. First off, we have Zacharias Janssen. Number 2 is Robert Hooke, Anton van Leeuwenhoek, Matthias Jacob Skleden, Theodor Swan, and lastly is Rudolf Virchow. Guys, I want you to remember these 6 people who is behind the discovery and development of the cell. Now, let's go on now with the first part of our lesson, which is about the cell discovery and development. So, ano nga ba ang naging role ng mga tao na to when it comes on the discovery behind the development of the cell? Alamin po natin isa-isa. Let's start from Zacharias Janssen. In spite of his young age, he was credited for perfecting the first ever compound microscope around the year 1595. Meaning to say, naayos niya or mas na-improve at na-innovate niya pa yung microscope noong 1595. And it may also be possible that his father, Hans Lippershey, okay, or with the unspelled Lippershey, or was creating or the one who created the first one, but evidence show that it was Zacharias who perfected it. Meaning to say, si Zacharias yung nag-perfect ng kung paano yung pwedeng maging functions ng microscope. Next, number 2, Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke naman was the one who discovered and named the cells in 1655 and remarked that it looked like strangely similar to cellula or small rooms with monks in monastery inhabited, thus deriving the name. However, what Hooke actually saw was dead cells or dead cell walls of plants. Ito yung core, which appear under the microscope. So, naging famous to sa kanya itong discovery niya na to. Most especially his law of elasticity, or should we call it Hooke's law. And did a huge amount of work on microbiology, and also he published a famous book na ang title ay Micrographia. Saan included dito yung iba't ibang sketches ng mga various natural things na makikita sa microscope. Now, let's proceed with number 3. Anthony van Leeuwenhoek. So, he was known as the father of microbiology because he discovered a dozen of protists or protozoa, which he called little animals or animalcules in 1678. He often cited as the first microbiologist who studied muscle fibers, bacteria, spermatozoa, and blood flow in capillaries. Yun po yung naging contribution ni Anthony van Leeuwenhoek. For number 4 naman, si Matthias Scleden, noong 1838, he concluded that all plant tissues are composed of cells and that an embryonic plant arose from a single cell. So, he was the one who declared na ang cell daw is the basic building block of plant matter. So, eventually, itong recognition na to was actually from Robert Brown's discovery of cell nucleus. Scleden argued the nucleus, which he renamed as cytoblast, was an essential component of the plant or of all plants cell. So, he discovered the blood cells and was the first to see the living sperm cells in animals. Yan po yung naging contribution ni Matthias Scleden. And then, number 5 naman, si Theodor Swan. He was a German physiologist who founded the modern histology by defining the cell as the basic unit of animal structure. So, itong si Theodor Swan was the one who discovered the pepsin. Pag sinabi nating pepsin, ito yung first digestive enzyme that is being prepared from the animal tissue. At na-experiment ito, no, para ma-disprove itong spontaneous generation. He also coined the term metabolism from the chemical changes in the components of the cell itself or yung tinatawag natin na cytoplasm. So, tinawag niya to na metabolic phenomena. Next one, these are the additional discovery of Theodor Swan. Okay, which include the classification of tissues. At binanggit niya dito that there are 5 separate groups of tissues. Number 1 is separate and independent cell at ang tawag dito ay blood cell. Pangalawa, this is a skin cell which is compacted and independent cell also. So yung pangatlo guys, these are a type of cell that comes together as a whole, meaning to say buo. These are the cartilage, the bone, and tooth cells. Next one is the elongated fibrous cell or the tendons and ligaments. Cells that is formed by wall and cavity fusion, which are the muscle cells. Let us now proceed with the part 2 ng ating lesson sa module number 12, which is about the basic structure of the cell. I know every one of you is now familiar with this basic structures because we have already discussed some of it on our past lesson. Both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells contain cell membranes, cytoplasm, genetic materials, energy currency or yung tinatawag nating adenosine triphosphate or ATP, enzymes, and coenzymes. So, here is the illustration of the basic structure of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. Look at the prokaryotic cell, guys. The prokaryotic cell here contains the following part. First off, it has its nucleoid, it has its cytoplasm, the cell wall, the plasma membrane, and flagella. And if you look at the eukaryotic cell, mas madami yung part na meron siya kaysa kay prokaryotic cell. Later po, mas madidiscuss natin why is there a difference between the structure of prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. As you can see here in eukaryotic cell, there is a cytoskeleton which gives off a structure to the cell. It also has its plasma membrane wherein it can also be found in prokaryotic cell. Eukaryotic cell has its endoplasmic reticulum, which has 2 different, rough ER and smooth ER. So, eukaryotic cell also has a vesicle, Golgi apparatus, nucleolus, and nucleus. Okay, there you go. So, here is the structure, no? Or basic structure of prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. Now, let's compare. Anong meron kay prokaryotic cell at eukaryotic cell? As you can see here from the table, if we're going to compare both of them, si prokaryotic cell, it has any unicellular or it can be found in any unicellular organism that does not contain a membrane-bound organelles or nucleus. While eukaryotic cell naman, guys, can be found in any cells that contain a clear defined nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. That is their difference when it comes to tawag dito kung saan sila matatagpuan and how they are being bind. Okay? Next po, saan po sila makikita? Mostly, the prokaryotic cell can be found on bacteria and archaea or yung tinatawag nating archaea bacteria. While the eukaryotic cell, matatagpuan po ito sa mga animals, sa plants, sa fungi, and protist cells. Next, comparison po is the size. Prokaryotic cell is small, which is umaabot lang to ng less than 1 to 5 micrometers. While mas malaki naman po sa eukaryotic cell na umaabot ng up to 10 to 100 micrometers. And then, prokaryotic cell replicate entire genome at once, while eukaryotic cell highly regulated with selective origins and sequence. Yun yung paraan nila ng pagpaparami. So, prokaryotic cell has the ability to replicate agad-agad. But eventually, when you compare it to eukaryotic cell, mas mabusisi po. Bakit? Because it regulates replication of the cells. Because sineselect pa nito or sinasala pa nito yung mga kailangan niya para maging effective. And at the same time, maging healthy yung magiging replication niya na cell. Prokaryotic cell, usually, they are unicellular. They are unicellular. While eukaryotic cell usually are multicellular. So, prokaryotic cell has a long or one long single loop of DNA and plasmids. While, if you compare it with eukaryotic cell, it has more than 1 chromosomes. The Y chromosomes and X chromosomes. Prokaryotic cell has a small ribosomes while eukaryotic cell has large ribosomes. Prokaryotic cell is slower when it comes to growth rate or generation in time, while eukaryotic cell has a faster growth rate or generation in time or generation time. Prokaryotic cell has a complex cell wall present in all prokaryotes, while eukaryotic cell naman has a simple cell wall that is present in animal and plant cell. And within the comparison of these two type of cell, meron din silang pagkakapareho. Ano po yun? Number one, they have the ability to store hereditary information. They also have plasma membrane, both of them. And both of them has cytoplasm. So, this table represents the comparison between the prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. Now, guys, let's look at table number 2, which represents the cell parts and their functions. Alamin natin kung ano-ano ba yung mga functions ng bawat parts ng cell. First off, the nucleus. The nucleus is the headquarter or serve as the headquarter of the cell, which controls the metabolic process of the cell and contains the majority of cell's DNA. Ano ba yung cell's DNA na yan, guys? So, ano bang tawag dito? No? Bakit nga ba siya tinawag na headquarters ng cell or the control center of the cell? Because the nucleus also serve as a small amount in-house so, the nucleus sends out messages to tell the cell to grow. Kaya niyang mag-divide. So, ano pa nga ba ang control ni So, guys, ano pa nga ba ang functions ni nucleus aside from being the headquarter? Okay? First off, it sends out messages to tell the cell to grow, to divide, or die. Meaning to say, it is the control center of the cell. The nucleus is separated from the rest of the cell by a membrane called nuclear envelope, nuclear pores within the membrane which allow through a small molecules and ions. Okay? While yung larger molecules naman, kailangan ito ng support ng proteins in order to help them to get by or through. Okay? So, they can do their parts, they can do their work. Yun po yung kailangan niya. So, that's the function of the nucleus. Next one, guys, the plasma membrane. When we say plasma membrane, this semi-permeable membrane is predominantly made of phospholipids, which prevent water-based substance from entering the cell and contains a range of receptors na nagtataglay naman ng number of tasks. Okay, so it has its different tasks. Alamin natin kung ano yung mga tasks na yan. Number one task ng plasma membrane is they serve as the gatekeeper of the cell. Paano po nangyari na gatekeeper po o naging gatekeeper po si plasma membrane? It is because some receptors allow certain molecules through and stop others. Meaning to say, kapag yung foreign bodies, bago pa yan makapasok sa loob ng cell natin, hinaharang na siya ni plasma membrane. Most especially, kapag nakita niya, no, that this type of foreign bodies is pwedeng maging harmful para sa cell natin. Okay? Next one, plasma membrane also serve as the markers because these receptors act as name badges. Okay? It gives off an information to the immune system that there are part of organism and not a foreign invader. Gets po? So, meaning to say, kapag nagkakasakit po tayo, there are times that plasma membrane gives off what? Gives off a signal na, oy, may sakit po itong may katawan sa atin. Kailangan po nating palakasin ang ating immune system. Diba? Wow! Ang galing naman! Next, number 3 po, the communicators. Plasma membrane also serve as the communicators. Bakit daw? It is because some of the receptors or some receptors help the cell communicate with other cells and environment. And last of the task na meron si plasma membrane, it became a fasteners. Mga ano po yung fasteners? Some receptors help bind the cell to its neighbors. Okay? Nagdidikit. Okay? Ng one cell to another. Parang ganyan po. Naku ha? It serves as a fastener which allow the cell to attach from one another. Okay, there you go. So those are the 4 tasks of plasma membrane. Let us now proceed with cytoplasm, guys. When we say cytoplasm, it is the interior of the cell that surrounds the nucleus and is around 80% of water. Okay? Meaning to say, kung ganito kalaki yung cell mo, almost 80%, okay, na meron sa kay cell is water. At dito matatagpuan si cytoplasm. Okay, get it? Okay, binubura lang ni ma'am para makita po natin. So, ano yung inclusion na meron kay cytoplasm? Si cytoplasm, nagtataglay ito ng organelles and the jelly-like fluid na ang tawag dito ay cytosol. Okay, kung baga, sa itlog, yung egg white. Di ba? Parang gel-like siya. Pagka hinawakan mo, parang ang lagkit-lagkit niya, madulas-dulas, di ba? So, sa itlog, yung egg white nun, yung pinakang egg white na yun, nandun po, o yun po mismo si cytoplasm. At nagpataglay ito ng jelly-like fluid at ng cytosol. Okay, there you go. Next, let's now proceed with the lysosomes and peroxisomes. Anong meron kay lysosomes and peroxisomes? Both lysosomes, okay, became a digestive sac or called as a digestive sac. While si peroxisomes naman, these are a bag of enzymes. Tandaan niyo po ang pagkakaiba nilang dalawa. Baka malito po kayo, ha? Ulitin po ni ma'am. Si lysosomes po, siya yung nagsaserve as digestive sac ng cell natin. Meaning to say, siya yung nag-grind ng food, ng protein na kakailanganin ni cell para mag-grow. Ito naman pong si peroxisomes, siya naman po yung bags of enzymes. Okay? So, lysosomes contain enzymes that break down large molecules, including old parts of the cells and foreign materials. Si perissosomes, nagko-contain naman siya ng enzymes na pumapatay sa mga toxic materials, kagaya na lang ng peroxide. Okay? Yun ang trabaho ni perissocytes. Siya yung dahilan kung bakit yung mga toxins na pwedeng ma-intake or nakuha natin is madali natin na nalalabanan. O kapag nagkakasakit tayo, siya rin yung tumutulong para mabilis tayong gumaling. Isa sa mga nagre-react kung bakit pag may nakapasok na bakterya sa loob ng katawan natin, nilalagnat tayo, di ba? Kasi, nilalabanan ng immune system natin yun. Okay, next one po is the cytoskeleton. Okay, medyo lang po tayo kasi ito po ay nagkaroon po ng typo error. So i-type lang po ni ma'am yung right spelling ng cytoskeleton. Okay, there you go. Here is the spelling po ng cytoskeleton, guys. Okay, disregard na lang po this one because, okay, it's wrong. So cytoskeleton can be considered as the scaffolding or support of the cell which contain its correct shape. Yan. Kumbaga, sa katawan ng tao, si cytoskeleton po yung pinakang buto. Siya po yung nagbibigay ng shape kay cell. Sumusupport sa shape ni cell. Mine-maintain at kinokorek niya po yung shape ni cell. Okay? However, unlike regular scaffolding, so the cytoskeleton is more flexible. Mas flexible po siya kaysa sa regular scaffolding. Kasi di ba yung scaffolding, pinakang support lang naman yun. Tapos hindi siya flexible, hindi na-adjust, di ba, matigas. While yung cytoskeleton na meron ng cell natin, flexible po siya. Okay? So, it plays a role in cell division and cell motility, which has the ability or gives off the ability of some cells to move. Kagaya na lamang ng sperm cell. Di ba? Sperm cell has the ability to move from one place to another or from one area to another. Okay? So, isa yan sa mga ability or functions ni cytoskeleton. Oh. Next one. It also helps the cell signal through its involvement in the uptake of material from outside and cell endocytosis. It also involved in moving materials around within the cell. So, madaming functions din si cytoskeleton. Okay, got it? Next one. Let us now proceed with microtubules and microfilaments. Ano ba yung functions ni microfilaments at saka ni microtubules? Microfilaments po muna tayo. Microfilaments assist with cell movement and that are made of protein which is called actin. Yun ang meron kay microfilament. And then ang trabaho naman ni actin, it works with another protein which called myosin in order to produce muscle movements. Okay? It also helps the cell to divide, okay, and provide cytoplasmic streaming. There you go. Now, microfilaments keep organelles in place within the cell, while the microtubules are giving shape to cells and cellular membranes. Yan po. Now, let's now proceed with the rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum or DER. Pag sinabi nating rough endoplasmic, it looks like sheet of disc of bumpy membranes because of the ribosomes needed by protein synthesis. While yung smooth endoplasmic reticulum naman, it looks more like tubes, mainly produce and export lipids. Okay? So, siya yung dahilan kung bakit nagkakaroon ng production ng lipids, guys. Next one, the Golgi apparatus or the body air complex. So, Golgi apparatus is sometimes considered as the post office of the cell because dito nag-i-stack yung mga molecules and dito din po napaprocess yung mga molecules, or sorry po guys, dito po na-i-stack yung mga molecules na napaprocess ni ER. Okay? Siya yung naglalagay ng package at saka ng label. Okay? So, once materials leave, they may be used within the cell or taken out of the cell for the use of elsewhere using a vesicle. Next one guys is the mitochondria, wherein it is the powerhouse of the cell because it contains an ATP. Pag sinabi nating ATP, itatype po ni ma'am, adenosine, okay? Adenosine triphosphate. Ayan. Yan po yung meaning ng ATP, strand ng ATP. Siya rin yung nag-i-store ng calcium, which plays a role of cell death and apoptosis, or yung apoptosis na tinatawag, death of the cell. Okay? There you go. So, pagka sinabing mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell because of the ATP. Pag sinabing ATP, guys, adenosine triphosphate. Okay, let me correct the spelling again. So, there you go. Ayusin lang natin ang spelling, adenosine triphosphate. Next naman, ribosomes naman po tayo. Pag sinabi natin ng ribosomes, some ribosomes float freely in the cytoplasm and others are attached to ER, mainly responsible for the production of protein. Next one, the cell wall serve as the protection of the cell. Bakit siya yung naging protection of the cell? Because the cell wall also provides structure, strength, and support to the cell. It also provides semi-permeable surface for the molecules to pass in and out of the cell. Dito naman tayo guys kay chloroplast. Dito naman tayo guys kay chloroplast. Guys, ang chloroplast, mostly this can be found in plant cell. Okay? A chloroplast is a type of plasmic chloroplast is a type of plastid that contains the green pigment called chlorophyll in order to absorb the light energy which required in order to start the photosynthesis. So, the process by which the energy from the sun is being converted into chemical energy. At ano yung chemical energy na yon? Glucose. In short, sugar. Para lumaki si animals. Para lumaki si plants. Okay? So, nadodouble po si plastid. Okay? And, so plastids are double membrane bound organelles that is found inside the plants and some algae. Ano pa ang meron kay chloroplast? It has a ano pa ang meron kay chloroplast? It has a carotenoid. Ano pa ang meron kay chloroplast? It has a carotenoid pigments that is being observed in flowering plants, fruits, and aging leaves. It also have gerontoplast or yung tinatawag na chloroplast that undergoes aging process. Leucoplast, largest pigment that is responsible for storing starch. Proteinoplast, store proteins. And lastly is the eloplast, which is store the fats and oils. Next one guys is we have the vacuoles. Pag sinabi nating vacuoles, this is the storage structure of the cell that can hold food for later use or waster of removal or removing of the waste. Yun po ang meron kay vacuoles. Next off, we have the plasmodesma. When we say plasmodesma, this is a it is a plural or it has a plural name plasmodesmata. Another term. Okay? Which is ang trabaho nito, siya yung nagiging channel ng cell wall that allows the molecules and substance to move back and forth kapag kailangan. Siya din yung nag-send off ng communication from one cell to another. Next one, anong meron? Si centrosomes. Ang trabaho ni centrosomes, it comprises two microtubule rings that is known as centrioles. Okay? Ang main function nito is to organize the microtubules and provide a structure to the cell. Next one, si centrioles naman, ito naman, bawat animal or si centrioles naman, every animal-like cell has two small organelles which is called centrioles. Okay? They are there to help the cell when it comes to division. Okay? Sila yung dahilan kung bakit nagkakaroon ng cell division. Tumutulong siya. And they are put to work in both the process of mitosis and the process of meiosis. Later po, mas maiintindihan po natin what is the meaning of mitosis and meiosis. Okay, so this guys is the figure number 3. It is a simple diagram that compares and contrasts the plant and animal cell. As you can see here, plant cell has more complex, okay, of cell than animal cell. But both of them has different parts and functions. There you go. Hanggang dito na lang po muna yung lesson natin para sa part 1 and part 2 ng ating discussion sa module number 11. So guys, hanggang dito na lang po muna yung lesson natin for module number 12, the part 1 and part 2. Next po, we're going to discuss about the cell transport, the part 3. Okay? Part 3 ng ating module number 11. But of course, I want you to take down notes, some of the keys na na-discuss natin sa part 1 and part 2 so that you can use it as your reviewer. So there you go guys. Thank you very much for listening and I'm looking forward that you take the review. Have a nice day everyone. Have a nice day everyone and God bless. See you on our next lesson.